Welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're going to cover, should you steal a signing services client or not? I'm going to show you the right way and the wrong way to broach this subject, as well as a couple scenarios and examples from my experience as a notary and as a signing service owner. Now, if this content could be valuable to you, please like and share the video with another notary. And of course, if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe to the channel. Every single week we put out new notary signing agent content to help you and your family start, grow, and scale your signing agent or signing service business. Now, let's get into it. Should you steal a signing services client? Now, the answer is no, but there's a little bit of a gray area, which you'll kind of see shortly. Now, out of the gate, the reason my main answer is no is because it infers and implies that if you take their client, they will no longer have the client. However, that's not really how it works as a signing service. Now, as a signing service owner for many years, I can tell you, I personally am not really adding a ton of value for most of my clients locally. So what I mean is, when my clients have a signing in their office they can't personally do and no one else on their team can fill in and do, they will hire my team and our notaries to come into the office and help out. That doesn't happen that much. Most of the time, they have that covered in office or borrowing from other offices if they have more than one. Usually where we add value at Superlative Signings to them is if those signings are after hours, office hours, outside of the office, and usually really far away, meaning hours, miles, states away, and that's where we add value. So as an individual signing service, as an individual signing agent, most of the time when we're talking about stealing a client, you're not really taking business from me if my client wants to work with you locally for local closing most of the time, because most of my clients typically are using us for outside closing. Now, some of our clients do in-office closings with our team, and that's great. And in those cases, a lot of times we'll rotate the signing agent that goes there just so it's not the same person over and over again. But either way, it's not really hurting me that much if you do. And the other counter argument is, if you're taking that client for me for those in-office or those very local closings, maybe my relationship isn't that strong with that client, and that's really on me. And I always talk about on this channel, taking 100% accountability. So if you're able to come in, scoop up that client and take closings away from me, that just means I probably didn't do a good enough job establishing and developing and building a relationship with that client. And that's for me to get better. So I understand why you're doing it. You're trying to get more business. I totally get it. Now, there are definitely appropriate and not appropriate ways to do this and go about it. I'm going to lay those out right now. Now, the inappropriate ways to do this would be leveraging that closing you just did for a signing service and using that to get your foot in the door. Now, that is leveraging my relationship and my marketing and my closing that I helped generate and I gave to you, and then you're turning that right back around on me to try to attempt to take business from my team and our notary. So that's the inappropriate way to do it. And examples of this would be if you're doing an in-office signing, as I just mentioned, at the office, you literally finish the closing, you give them the documents, and then as you're giving them the documents, you go and pitch yourself, leveraging that relationship at that closing. Or another example would be if you are sending an email and you're saying, hey, I just did the seller closing for Mr. and Mrs. Young in your office, or 3 counties away, for the buyers for Mr. and Mrs. Young for this file at this property address. We did a great job, we had a great time, and I would love to help you and your team moving forward. Again, leveraging a relationship that I already have and a closing that I gave to you to turn around and take business from me. So that's the inappropriate way to do it. One last example of an inappropriate way to do it would be to send your marketing materials back to the title company. So whether if you're doing a out-of-office closing and you're FedExing documents back and you're including your business card or your marketing flyer or both, and or handwritten notes about how you want to work with them, leveraging that closing to try to get a relationship. Again, that will be the inappropriate moral gray area, kind of an asshole way to do it, pardon my language. Now, if you have actual morals and you want to get direct title client business, I am not saying don't market to title companies I work with. What I am saying is, if you're going to do that, please do it in a morally non-bankrupt way and do the appropriate way. Now, the appropriate way to market to title companies that you have already done closings for out of office or in office through other signing services is to go on a completely separate day that you're not doing a closing for them. You do not make reference to other closings you have done for them, meaning not leveraging relationships of signing service owners and their closings they generated for you. And strictly on your own efforts and merit, go in and market just like I go in and market. Even if I've been into that office before and I've done closings for that title company through signing services when I was an individual signing agent, I never made reference to that. I always went in and did my pitch on my own about why it would be great to use me as a notary signing agent and what kind of value I can bring. So if you're going in by yourself and either through email or in person or social media, and again, making the pitch for you and your service and the value you bring, not leveraging someone else to do it, perfectly fine. To me, that is, you're good to go. Like, that is perfectly okay. There's a lot of business in the world, a lot of business in the title game to go around. And, I don't come from a scarcity mindset. So to me, if you're honestly going in and pitching your service and they like what you have to say and they want to work with you for a local closing, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Okay. And then another way to do it would be, I've experienced personally as a signing service owner is, I've had individual notaries have actually asked me personally, hey, I'm going to go out marketing to XYZ title, who is a client of yours at this particular branch that's close to me. Is that okay? I wanted to give you a heads up. I don't want to step on any toes because I value the relationship you have. Now, because you asked me permission, essentially, is what you're doing, or giving me notice or giving me a heads up that you're going to do that, I'm not personally going to take offense to it. First off, I appreciate that you are valuing our relationship and then you want to be forthright, honest, and open, just like we are as a company, honest and open. So you're letting me know, giving me the heads up, you're going to market to them. And I'm like, my response is always the same. Cool, go for it. Plenty of business to go around. Just don't reference us or the closings you've done for us. Do your own thing. If they like your pitch, they'll work with you. And that's perfectly fine. Asking permission is fine. And if you do, it's going to come from a much better place. Now, what happens is if you don't ask permission and you do the inappropriate ways I mentioned about sending marketing materials back with documents or emailing and going in person and leveraging other closings you've done through a signing service, not through your own marketing efforts, to get your foot in the door, and then that comes back to the signing service owner, and we hear about it from our clients because we have a relationship and they do communicate these things when they happen. What's going to happen is going to be pretty devastating for you, assuming you value the relationship with the signing service owner. Clearly, if you go behind their back, aren't forthright, and you use their relationships to try to get you business, of course, obviously the most obvious answer is they're going to not want to work with you again. They're going to blacklist you, so you're going to lose out on those signings and any future signings from that company. That will probably generate a negative review for you. And if someone has a review that says they tried to go behind my back and using us to leverage those relationships to take those appointments from us, and other signing service owners and schedulers read that, that's not going to be good for you. A lot of people are going to pass. So it's going to be a lot of future business you're going to lose out on. Now, if you're going to go fully direct and you don't mind burning all these bridges, knock yourself out. But that is usually the result of what will happen if we find out that you're marketing to our clients in an unscrupulous way. Now, if I hear that you're marketing to my clients, but you're doing it on your own, it's your own pitch, you're not talking about the closings you've done through my signing service to get your foot in the door, I'm cool with it. Again, because there's plenty of business to go around. So there's right ways to do things, and there's definitely wrong ways to do things. So there's ways to have the moral high ground or to be in the gray area. Again, it's your business. You can do what you want to do. This is all my opinion. You can take it or leave it as, good or not good. You don't have to subscribe to it. And then one other question that usually comes up in these scenarios I get from notaries, whether I'm doing Q&A calls or notary coaching calls or monthly trainings in the DMV, is, what if the title company approaches me, Brad, and they say, hey, you've been to our office a couple times. We like the feedback our clients have gotten when you've done closings. Could you start working with us and do some of our local closings when we have a need? That's perfectly fine. They are approaching you. Again, if they're approaching you, they like the value you're bringing, and they are more than happy to do that, and that's their prerogative. Again, as I said at the beginning of the call, beginning of this video, I typically, and our team are adding more value way outside of the local area. And we're not supplanting the local notaries, really. We are just in addition to them. When they're fully booked, hey, we're helping out. But usually they're going to their go-to local notaries, which is fine, which is someone you can be. And if they approach you, that's all above board. And you can still let the signing service know if you have a good relationship. Hey, just wanted to let you know they approached me, and that has happened before also. A friend of mine, Tammy in Northern Virginia, she's had this issue where one of our clients reached out to her because she's an amazing closer, and they said, hey, can you do local stuff? And Tammy is super loyal. We appreciate the crap out of her at Superlative Signings. She's an amazing person, a human being, and we love working with her. But she called me and said, hey, they should let me know. And I said, I appreciate you letting me know. And she said, hey, if you want to work with me, request me through Brad's signing service. And she didn't have to do that. She could have just worked with them and not told me, but she's incredibly loyal, and that's why we love her. And if that client calls her directly and hires her directly, I'm still okay with that. That's okay. Again, because they are approaching her because they love what she brings to the table. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's plenty of closings to go around, despite what the trolls on the internet say. So I hope this has added value as far as this conversation about should you steal signing service clients or not. It's kind of a gray area. There's right ways and wrong ways, personally, in my opinion, to do it and go about it. So I prefer that you go the above board route, but it's up to you. We all have our own businesses to run, so I understand whatever way you want to do it, that's up to you. We all have businesses to run. Now, if this video has brought you any value at all, I hope it has, please like the video and share it to another notary that could benefit from it. And of course, if you haven't already and subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? This is literally all we do is provide great notary content every week for free to you. And speaking of direct client, if you're a notary that has direct clients and you want to get paid 10% commissions to introduce us to your client, we have that offer always standing. If you send an email to your client, CC me, Brad at superlativesignings.com, and just say, hey, Brad and his team are happy to cover that closing in Texas, Hawaii, Dakota, wherever it is, since we are covering all 50 states and international with RON closings, bilingual, whatever your client needs that you can't personally provide, we're happy to fill in for those out-of-state closings you can't do anyway. And we pay you 10% on whatever they send us each and every month, direct deposit. Happy to do it each and every month. We love it. It's a win all around. Now, if you have direct clients and you don't want to refer us because you're thinking about starting a signing service, I have an amazing video detailed about how to start a notary signing service that I'm going to link right here. Feel free to check that out. You're welcome. And if you have watched to the very end of the video, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. You are the 1%, the die-hard notaries that are always trying to get better, grow their business. Those are my people on this channel. I appreciate you so much for subscribing to the channel, liking and sharing the video. And until the next video next week, see you next time. Peace.